And welcome back to season 2, our debut episode of season 2
Oh, season
of the Leaking
two.
Out Positive. Welcome back. We're season 2 in it.
I'm
Um,
still Laney.
I'm still caffeinated, super caffeinated.
That's your username now. Caffeinated.
Yep, they call me the caffeinated one. Um,
I do.
and with the dawn of a new season, uh, releases the dawn of new things. You just heard the new Leaking Out intro. If you like the song, we will make sure to credit it um, in the
Even if you don't
description
like the song,
slash
we'll credit it.
yeah, because we're not assholes. Oh shoot, there goes the
Even though,
there goes the money.
oh well. Even though it's a public domain thing, we'll still let you know where you can find it.
Because it goes hard. Well, at least we hope you think it goes hard too.
It goes at least to medium.
It is a solid medium. I agree. Um, In addition to the new intro, we're gonna hopefully be introducing some new types of uploads, both on the on both of our platforms. We don't have a good name for it yet, but we want to give you guys some shorter content that maybe
And
you can
and for
consume
real
in a
this
quicker
time, unlike the
fashion.
last time we talked about
Yeah,
it.
unless the last
Hopefully,
time. Don't worry. Maybe one day those will come. But these are for real.
who knows?
Basically, rather than the two of us sitting down for an hour or two, it'll probably be either just
An
one of
hour. Yeah,
us
right.
at this point. But yeah, it'll probably just be one of us,
Two
like for
hours or
30
three.
minutes, going off
Yeah,
about some whatever caught our
whatever.
brain. I'm sure you all want to hear uh, all of Laney's various takes on what Spoiler's up to right now. The
Okay,
girl's
I'll have
kind
a
of
30-minute
back.
segment on mashed potatoes versus waffles. Don't worry.
True, also true. There might be some sillier topics.
No, that's
Uh,
a serious topic. It's about her favorite food.
oh, you
Her
meant it with
comfort
regards to
food.
staff. I thought you meant with regards to yourself.
No, this is an academic endeavor.
This makes sense. I have some stuff that's kind of been bobbling around for a bit. I thought it'd be fun to maybe, uh, if you've been keeping up with my League account, I'm getting back into manga slowly but surely. I thought it might be fun to keep I guess like a video journal of that, maybe like a little vlog, little old fashioned blog. So we'll
So
see
kind of
about
starting
that.
manga. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be the same for me. Who knows?
It'll be so exciting. But yeah, we'll let you know more about that as it comes out. Be sure to let us know what some topics you might just hear. If you ever wanted 30 interrupted minutes of us talking about something, we'll probably talk about it. Um,
Yeah.
and then finally, and most importantly, we want to introduce something new to show our transparency and our dedication to being an informative podcast rather than a misleading podcast. Uh, we were recently brought to our attention a correction that needed to be made to a previous episode. And so now we'd like to kind of formally introduce that as a format. Uh, Going forward, if you ever notice an error, whether it's in a current episode or even as far back as the pilot, please let us know either through YouTube comments. I don't know what Spotify has. I
Spotify
assume they
has
have something similar.
comments.
Thank you.
We have Discord
Uh,
accounts that you probably know us from. We have League accounts you probably know us
Discord,
from.
League,
We
the
have
official League account on Leaking Out.
the official Leaking Out email address if you want to send us emails at leakingout@gmail.com. If you want
There's
to
an
share all
Instagram
the
we
fan
never
art you're
use.
doing,
But
you
yeah,
know you all
feel
you
free to
know you
reach
also have
out.
Mountains of Leaking Art fan account. Send that to us too.
Leaking Art. Ooh, ooh,
Okay, that goes hard.
Leaking Art goes hard. But yeah, we we're not perfect people. We mess stuff up sometimes. We say stuff and we think it's right.
Like in the last
But
episode with
yes,
knowledge, we said that what was it? We said that Thunderbird was a member of the Cherokee tribe. He's actually a tribe member of the Apache tribe, which he says like every three lines. Thanks to
that was
Ace,
our bad.
broke X-Man for pointing, who also just completed the journey of catching up on every episode within like a month. That's insane. That's like a day of your life gone.
I was gonna say it's exciting. Season 2, we've already reached a whole day's worth of content. Who knows
28
where
hours
we'll go
actually.
next? Yep. Um, But yeah, thank you to them for pointing out our error.
Send
Sorry.
send all the errors you notice our way. We like being proven wrong, 'cause it means that we can learn more random shit.
True. Very true. Um, so yeah, welcome to season 2. How are you feeling about season 2, by the way, before we move
I
on
think
to
it'll be
anything more
twice as good as
formal?
season one.
Whoa. We're gonna have like a Twin Peaks moment where our first season's super short and our second season is well actually wait, we literally are, because that's just how the time will work out. Who knows when this season will end? Maybe it will never end. Maybe we'll be stuck on season 2 indefinitely.
Maybe there'll only be 2 episodes in season two, and then season three will take the rest of our lives until one of the hosts
True,
dies.
true, true. Um,
So another two
you have my
episodes.
you have my promise. If you pass away while we're doing the show, I'll make like a soulless, like money driven reboot that has like none of the original like love in
Thank
it.
you.
I think that's
Eh,
important.
let's see. I think that if I die, if I pass away while we're still doing this, you should bring knowledge back, and she'll take my place.
That'd be fun.
We talked about it in that episode, or right after that. It would basically be the same, just switching one blonde character for another. Who do you nominate as your
Nobody will
successor
know.
if you die?
Nobody will know. My successor. That's a great question. Uh, uh Godzilla's definitely up there. I feel like she can match my mania. Um,
Hmm.
I will say, after our conversation with Serena, which isn't out yet, but it will be, I promise. I kind of
Hmm.
think Serena could take over for me.
Okay, we'll work out the leaking out succession later.
It's not like it's like the
That
show, but a lot more autistic.
so just like this show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Secession, but somehow more autistic, if you can believe it.
it's called leaking
And
out, and it's
it's
here
called
every
Leaking Out.
Wednesday.
Speaking of things that are here every Wednesday,
Our
that was a
polls.
good one. Our polls, yeah. Uh, so this is your second month polling Absolute Wonder Woman, right? Because we both
Yes.
have Absolute Wonder Woman
Yeah.
this week.
Yep. So that is
So
absolutely
that's
Wonder
pretty
Woman number
exciting.
17, which I've heard incredible things about already. Speaking of things I've heard
Getting
incredible things
shit.
about already, because people are getting early access to it. Somehow the Power Fantasy number 16 leaked online early, like a month ago, but everyone was raving about it then. I'm really excited to read it tomorrow.
I'll catch up, I promise. Honestly, when I catch up, we'll probably do a whole episode of just damn Power Fantasy.
It is that good.
So stay tuned for that.
I,
Anything else on your
I
playlist?
also have Voyeur number 4, which I'm
Oh,
excited for. It's a consistently good book. It's got interesting ideas. I don't think it's
by
the
the
best
goat.
book I'm reading right now, but it's definitely one of the most interesting. And then finally is Wiccan Witch's Road number 3. I wasn't pulling this book originally, and then the week after issue 1 came out, I was like, okay, let's grab it. Let's see what's going on. I said, that's good, but I don't think I'm going to read the whole thing. And then issue 5 got solicited, and I saw all the Young Avengers, and I was like, nope, this is back on the pull list. I love Billy. I want to see what's going on here. I'm excited. So my pick of the week. I think my pick of the week has to go to either Power Fantasy or Absolute Wonder Woman. The
Yeah,
two
you got a tight
probably
race.
probably the two best books I'm reading right now, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to say it's a tie and let you talk about yours.
So my pull list, I also have Wonder Woman, Absolute Wonder Woman number 17. I'm excited for that. I also have its absolute twin. I have Absolute Martian Manhunter number 9 coming out that week. It was recently. I feel weird saying confirmed because we knew it was going to end at 12, but I guess people were hoping for another extension. But it was definitely confirmed. This will be a 12 issue maxi. I'm not disappointed in that. I was very excited that we're having a hard like beginning, middle,
A lot of
end, all that.
a lot of books just go on too long, and it's nice to see a creator saying, "No, this is what I'm doing."
So I'm excited to see where it's going. We only issue 8 was pretty crazy. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna spoil it, but whoa. Talk about a status quo shakeup. So that's exciting. I also have Inglorious X Force #2. I really liked the first issue. I thought it was pleasantly like, it felt like a real nice return to form for X Force. Um, I think I've said it on the show before. I don't like shitting on the From the Ashes X Force book because it was cool that it was trying something new. It just really like alienated me as like a long term X Force fan, and like I can't pretend I'm not happy that Seeley's just like, nope, it's normal X Force now. Like to deal with it. It's the X Force that you know and love. And then finally, and yeah, probably my pick of the week, we got Mortal Thor #7 coming out. Um, every month, Al Ewing continues to show why he's one of the best in the biz right now. I think Mortal Thor is taking a character that I had found stagnant and kind of uh, done to death in the modern age, and is really finding a good place for him in this new status quo. I mean, you've been loving it too. We that's
Oh,
one of our books that
absolutely.
we
Yeah.
pass back and forth.
And you
I'm
say
gonna
that like
step out on a
like most of
limb.
ours aren't.
I'm gonna step out on a limb here. So far, I think Mortal Thor has been better than Immortal. Not Hulk, obviously, but
Yeah.
better than Immortal Thor.
Okay. I see it. Yeah.
I think the plot is a
Yeah.
lot stronger. I like the setup. I find the whole like I mean I'm a sucker for Roxanne do an evil thing. I don't know why it's like so simple, but it's just like thank
Also,
you.
giving focus to just a bunch of random loser Thor villains no one cared about, and giving them stories where they get to be threatening is fun, especially because Thor now
I
doesn't have his powers to use. And seeing him
It's been
outsmart
fun,
Cobra is
yeah.
interesting, and I'm ready to see what he does like for Mr. High. Yeah,
Yes, Mr. Hyde's next, and then
isn't it the Great Gargoyle next?
so then we're getting another
No,
hey,
it's
what's
Living
Magni
Later.
up to?
Okay,
And then it's Radioactive Man, which is a great one of my new favorite Alex Ross covers, by the way.
you say that
Holy
every time there's a
crap.
new Alex Ross cover for this book.
That's true.
He's just that good, and the book's
Well,
just
and
that
then you
good.
look at all the covers that he's been doing. Again, like
Mhm.
I loved Immortal Thor. I thought it was clear there was some behind the scenes stuff that maybe like derailed it a little bit. I think mainly
Yeah.
losing Koyeo was a big hit, but I think it stuck the landing, and now that book walked, so this book could run. I
Yeah,
because I don't think you could
absolutely.
just jump to this. I
Mhm.
this was
He needed
probably
all the
always
build
the
up.
end game, but like I don't think you could have just like boom and now he's normal. To deal with it, nerds. Like,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
with that, I think we should move on to our next segment. Why don't you introduce for the folks? Because you brought this to our
yeah.
collective attention.
So a lot of times I'm talking about characters that come out queer. It's easy to say this character should be queer. End of discussion. Without talking about the text behind it or what that story could look like coming forward about them figuring out who they are and how that changes who they are as a character and how they interact with others. So I thought we'd each take like one or two of a couple of our queer headcanons and dive into that.
Okay. Do you want me to start or do you want to go ahead?
I can start.
Okay.
Like Tim Drake, transcend Tim Drake. That's where I'm going to start with this. And I am going to use he pronouns, even though I'm talking about a transcend. My idea is for a transcend character because that's what Tim uses. And it's complicated. Don't worry about it.
Don't
Just for
worry about
consistency,
it.
I'm saying this. So all of Tim's arcs basically are about I don't know how I fit into into the Bat family. I'm part of this legend now, and I don't know how I fit. How do I make myself unique, good in all the Robins, and live up to Dick's legacy, and also be myself? And the answer is take estrogen? Question mark.
Hey, maybe
I
the
think that,
problem is that you need you need some estrogen in your life.
and Tim always has obviously Tim and Steph's dynamic from the '90s series is a romantic relationship. It's also just as much as a partnership where that's uneven, where Tim is looking down on Steph. I think kind of flipping those roles where Steph becomes kind of a guide for Tim in this whole journey could be interesting. Everyone already jokes that Tim and Cass are basically the same. You could definitely play with that a little bit. But don't know how much Cass will have to contribute. And Cass has her own fucky relationship to gender, I think, at least in my head. Considering her dad raised her to just be a weapon and not a kid. You can't come out of that normal, I don't think. Or
Yeah, that'll do it.
make it a thing about Steph teaching Cass and Tim all these things, and they do girls' nights and stuff. That'd be fun. And you can you can kind of do what Dark Crisis Young Justice kind of did, and exploring some of the misogyny apparent in a bunch of the '90s books, like Robin and Young Justice. Have it as Tim is adjusting to the new experiences, and like hang out with Khan, bring back a little bit of Khan's misogyny. Honestly, it's sad to see him become a good kid instead of a misogynist loser with cool drip. I don't know if that's a controversial take, but have Tim has to be like, hey, I know I used to join in on those jokes, but I realized now that's kind of fucked up. And Cassie's like, yeah, no shit. Welcome to my life. Cassie Sandstork, another character with a fucky relationship to gender because she was kind of more butch, but then also had to hide herself because she wanted to be more like Donna. It's a really interesting arc. I think there could be a trans mask arc for Cassie that kind of goes in parallel with this, but that's not right now. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. I thought explore what that just was relationship with Bernard. Because I don't know what's on my head if Bernard is gay or bi, but it could be interesting to be like have both of them be their first queer relationship, and then Tim starts transitioning, and we see what that does to them and their identities. I don't know. You have any thoughts
I
on
like what
this?
you're thinking. I think you're asking questions about like where are we pushing things? What are we content with like what we're told? Can we
And
go
also,
more? Can we
I
go the
want to see a
distance?
character. I like trans characters, but I like more characters who transition because that's a whole element that gets skipped
Hmm.
over in lots of stories.
I see this.
Have
I see
have
what you're
Tim
going
fighting
for.
Anarchy, who misgenders him, and Tim has to go, "Hey, my pronouns are actually she, her." And Anarchy goes, "Oh, my bad. I will kill you, you foul wench," or something.
My apologies, madam. Want me to kill this man?
I don't know.
No, I think that's good. I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, we need like more queerness in the Bat family," but like don't have, in my opinion, realistic expectations for it. They always seem a little
Yeah.
I don't want to say ignorant. That's mean, but like I guess foolhardy. No, this makes a lot
Mhm.
more sense. Um, okay. So I think my big one, and I've already talked about this on the show, but I always come back to it.
Yeah.
Um, for a company that for a hot minute was obsessed with synergy, the fact that
Yeah.
DC hasn't canonized Larry Trainer, aka the Negative Man, being gay based
Mhm.
on the HBO show, I think is criminal. I thought that was a really interesting storyline in the show. I also think that, you know, when you read a lot of Negative Man comics, whether it's their transformation into Rebus during the Morrison run or Larry's whole relation with his powers during the Gerard Way run, is that a lot of like what consumes Larry as a person is this like very heteronormative, very uber mask like presentation, you know?
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
it would be very logical to be like, this is trying to compensate for his own internalized homophobia about being more feminine, about being more gay.
Yes.
Um, because it seems, even like, so like you have Rebus, who is like a non-binary entity, but is still for the most part pretty mask presenting. So like
Mhm.
even then, like even
Or at the
when
very least, androgynous presenting. Yeah.
yeah, so even when he was in like a more like gender fuck state, he was still like pertaining to like very traditional, you know, trench coat, sunglasses types. Um,
Mhm.
so I don't know. I just think it would be exciting to like explore that, especially because it was done so well in the show, and I think actually using Larry's longer continuity could really do that. Who knows? Uh, anything can happen now, I guess.
Let's see. If we want to come up with some Marvel examples, I think that one that could be interesting is Kate Bishop. Everyone knows that she's at least bi, including every character she interacts with. But what would that like? I want to see what would that look like for her. What would that change? Would it change anything? I don't know. This is one that's really just me asking questions because Kate Bishop is bi, even if Marvel hasn't admitted it. Everyone else has. So I think her arc would be more about less about figuring out and more about accepting. Because I think there could be an interesting story about she's known the whole time and just is downplaying her attraction to women.
Hmm.
Especially as the Bishops are kind of a public facing family. Her mom's a big deal, and she wants to be like, okay, I don't want to ruin the family name. I don't know.
Hmm.
I hope you see the vision with this.
I think so. I mean, like, part of my thing
I,
with Kate is that like something just needs to happen with her. Like,
yeah,
no shade
she's
to
been
anyone.
stagnant for so long. And at this point, she's basically been reduced to appearing with Jeff and or Gwenpool, than having her own stories.
I thought it was fun when she was like one of the only like actual detectives in Marvel. That's not
Her and
really
Jessica
something we
Jones, and
see.
they had their dynamic.
Yeah, it's like we don't really get to see a lot of that. So I was just
Mhm.
like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely think that's something that needs to, because
you
Kate
know,
just
we could
feels
bring
so stagnant. Sure, let her
Julie
go through
Power,
all that
the
again.
lesbian awaken or the Sapphic Awakener over at Marvel.
Yeah, have her come in, do her job, leave.
Change your color scheme. Change Julie's color scheme to just be the lesbian flag at this point. I don't know,
Where'd you get your cape from? The Long Bacon store.
but I think that and you look at the Young Avengers, and some of them are already queer because you have Speed and Wiccan and Hulkling and Marvel
Mm-hmm.
Boy and America Chavez and Loki and Prodigy and who am I missing? Dasher Straight.
From Young
Uh
Avengers?
oh, I okay. Iron Lad is nominally straight, but also Kid Immortus is gay, so that throws a wrench into all the Kangs, I
Well, and
guess.
he's from the future, so is it like the
So
Cable
yeah.
situation?
So basically, what we're saying is Kate is one of two straight Young Avengers.
Yeah, it's not a big pool of people.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to because there are so many friend groups where one person comes out as queer, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then another, and another, and another. Have Kate be victims to this domino effect.
I like this. Okay. Marvel. Hmm. I mean, okay, this is basic, but it's like
Okay.
I think okay, so having Rachel date Betsy, that's a big step. That's
Yeah.
admittedly a big step. But I also think that like Rachel is so transcoded, especially in early Claremont, that like as cool as it is that, she's at least bisexual, if not lesbian,
Hmm.
like it seems a little weird we didn't go like the next step, I guess. Um I think especially you look at well, okay, so it's weird. It's the like under like Claremont alike writers, mainly like Fabian Nicieza. She's so like very masculine, but then you have
Yeah.
guys like Scott Lobdell that are introducing like the Mother Ascani stuff and like this idea of her in the sacred feminine. So I don't really know. I guess I don't know if it's like clear cut, but it's like she seems like more femme these days, and I don't vibe with that, especially once she started because like Betsy's like so
Hmm.
butch in their relationship, and I'm just like I don't. I don't know about that. That just doesn't jive with my conception
Yeah,
of that character. We need more butch for butch representation.
this is very true and very good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm tired of, oh, you have to have your butch and your little femme. No. No. I want them to arm wrestle each other. You have any more you wanted to talk about, or are you feeling good?
I have more I could talk about, but we can go into general yapping, and if they come up, they come up.
True. What do you want to yap about? What's on your conscience? What's on your mind?
You take the lead first, and we'll see where the night leads us.
Okay, this is good. So let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Mhm.
I am fascinated by DC's Instagram account
Yeah,
because
and the YouTube account. Let's throw that
because
in with this.
well, I guess whoever runs their socials, because presumably it's the same person or group of
I
people for
said,
that
or at
matter.
least yeah, the same group.
So sometimes they'll make a post that's so fandom brain. I'm like, okay, so one of us has to be a sleeper agent because it'll be
Yeah.
like, I can't even think of a
Every
recent
time
one,
there's
but
a
it'll,
post about Dick's butt
sure,
or
that's a
muscle
good one.
mommies on Themyscira,
Yeah, muscles, like all that. I'm just like, okay, which one of you is secretly like,
what Tumblr person is actually employed by DC?
yes. But then they'll make blunders, like the recent Wonder Woman or not Wonder
Super
Woman, Supergirl post.
the trading card one, yeah, where they used the cover of Supergirl number one, Supergirl 1994, which is not Kara Zor-El as they were promoting, but it's instead May Kent.
So you'll see ones like that, or you'll a couple times. And obviously I can't think of one off the top of my head, but like anytime they reference John Paul Valley, it's always clear to me that like, oh, okay, so you've only read Nightfall. Because it'll always be like me when I'm bad at being Batman or whatever, and I'm like, the guy's done
Yeah.
other things. Like,
Mhm.
and it's just like I'm not saying like you have to be. I can't stress it enough. I'm not trying to gatekeep for like being the social
It's just
media
a really
manager
interesting
for.
situation where in some ways they're so tapped into the fandom, yet tapped out of the comics in some regards.
Here, I'm gonna like pull up like let me see like one of their more recent posts. Let's see.
Okay.
Uh, okay, like they're posting like GI Robot edits, and I'm like, okay,
Okay.
so that's pretty fandom pilled. Like that's very like I
Yeah.
don't think DC expected this character to like break out in the way that he did.
Mhm.
Um,
Or let's see, posting panels of Catwoman and Poison Ivy's asses.
sure.
In some ways, that is a marketing
Um,
decision because haha, hot girl. Oh, but also, but
oh
yeah.
sure. But then you have like, no, I actually don't follow the comics account. I was only following the
Ooh,
film one. Whoopsie.
rough, raggy.
Well, oh, like here's a good one. Like of all like the pictures they could have picked for like to promote KO, they have the one where it's like Superman Prime and Monarch, and I'm like, nobody knows who those are. Like, that's such a
Hmm.
choice to like of all the characters to promote from that issue.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. It's
it's
like
wild. Yeah,
it's pretty wild. Oh, I just saw the fixed card. That's funny.
yeah. It doesn't look as good because a lot of the good Kara costumes lately have just stolen aspects from May's costume.
She's wearing her
It's very,
I think it's called the
it's
flight
very much,
attendant costume.
yeah, it's very much a Tim Drake Dick situation. Where the '90s
True.
redesign just has some aspects that are so good and iconic that everyone else takes parts of it.
I don't know if you've seen these on your TikTok for you page, but apparently Nikhil
Oh,
Clayton has been watching Teen Titans 03 for the first time. He's kind of in a similar boat to
okay.
you, from what I understand. Like he's a big Titans fan, but He didn't like.
Yeah, grow up on the show.
Yeah, so it's been really funny that the whole time he's like, well, that's Tim because he's got the pants
Hmm.
and he's got the cape, but like the show keeps doing like Dick Grayson stuff. Like it'll be like he was raised in a
Okay.
circus, or like he turns into Nightwing in the
And
future.
his
And Nick
team was
Hale's
like,
just like, man, it's weird they're doing this with Tim. And
oh,
I don't know how to break it to the guy. I'm just like, no, like everybody hates Dick's old designs, so they just give him other people.
mhm. Yeah, I
This
don't
has
know.
been funny.
Yeah, the ways in which characters get redesigned and what designs stick and everything is fascinating to me. Like, why did T-shirt Connor become so popular from a show that doesn't even really have Connor outside of his name and origin? Like, the personality is completely different, but we decided, no, that's how Connor's going to look in the comics for like 10 years. It's not even a good look.
I think the problem is Jeff Lemire wrote a pretty good Superboy book that happened to have him in that costume.
Well, I think the issue is that Young Justice did the costume at the same time as Jeff Lemire is writing the book. Jeff Lemire could have written a
True.
good Superboy story with the jacket. I already said it, but whatever happened to Connor's misogyny? Bring that back.
Oh, I'm nostalgic
I want
for when he was an
sexism.
asshole. Do you think that would
Having
improve
Connor without
him as a
sexism is like
character?
having the beach without water. What?
Yeah, you think that would improve modern Connor stories? If he just like every time he sees a girl, he's like, "Ew, gross! You can't do anything."
No, he goes awooga awooga. You're hot, and I'm gonna
Awooga.
try and flirt with you. His tongue unrolls. Well, the real issue is that Connor hasn't really had stories lately.
Yes,
Like, what's the last thing he did?
that
Was
mini
it?
series during Dawn of DC,
I
maybe.
think he had at least one appearance after that. Oh, he's been in Green
Uh,
Lantern lately. I
Brainiac,
forgot.
Brainiac, the whatever that was.
House of Brainiac. I think he was in that.
Yeah,
But
he was in that.
well,
Yeah,
he's about to be in Supergirl, so that'll be what he's doing for a bit.
true.
But before that, he was in a lot of this DC Go comics. Looks like he's in Action Comics House of Kent #1. I don't remember this. Oh, because it's a reprint of Bendis stuff. But he's been in Green
Bendis,
Lantern lately. That's where he's been. Or I guess.
Brian Michael
Oh, wow, he's been in
Bendis,
Green Lantern for a while.
Brian
Ever
Michael
since issue
Bendis.
19 of Green Lantern. Huh?
Well, too
I
bad
was
I
doing it
don't
every
want to
day.
read that book, so I guess no Connor for
Yeah.
me.
Issues 19 to 28. He was in the book, it looks like. And then now the book's changing focus. They did a couple Hal Jordan team up issues, and then now it's focused on Kyle Rayner on Earth.
We
But I started to like
stand
Connor more,
Kyle
which is
Rayner.
weird to say. Kyle, that's what I'd say if I didn't before. I'm starting to like
Yeah, I was
Kyle
gonna say
more.
you could never hate Connor.
Yeah, I can when he's wearing a stupid T-shirt and not treating women as sex
Or
objects.
when he's bald. Remember when he was bald?
Forgot about when he was bald. I wish I forgot.
Yeah, no, I mean Kyle Rayner's he's a goat, you know. He's pretty
Oh yeah.
goat status. Um, I think it's funny, you know, we have like the Green Lantern Corps book or like just any like Lantern content, but they still all have pretty samey designs. I think that's still probably my favorite part about like Kyle is that like he has such a like different like look and it's only his, right? There's
Okay.
nobody
Yeah.
else really looks like Kyle Rayner. Um,
Yeah. In fact, even when they did a design stealing for the DCAU, but that was Kyle stealing all of Hal's stuff for Superman, which is interesting
yeah, that
in the
was
reverse of how
weird.
that normally goes.
That was a weird thing that happened. It's probably just because his costume was too hard to draw.
Yeah.
It definitely reeks of like the image era of comics. I'll say that much. As much as I love it, it is very
Mm.
like Wildcats, like Strike Force 5, like that kind of like trying to make spandex look tactical, and there's like that's just oxymoronic. Like that,
Sometimes you
you
just
can't
think
be
that
tactical.
spandex is gonna be silly spandex.
Yeah, it's gonna be spandex. Um, he also kind of looks like Maverick, and I think that's really funny that around the same,
I see it,
like the
yeah.
mouse. You know what I mean? Like the face guard, like his mask is very Maverick. Hold on, let me to clarify the Wolverine character, not Top Gun.
Mhm. Yeah,
I just real I was like,
I got that. Even if you
not
did,
enough.
even if I
We're
wasn't kidding.
Wolverine pilled enough. We're Wolverine side character pilled enough to be like, oh yeah, Maverick.
hmm Maverick,
How
back
have
from the
we not
golden
made
age of
that a
Wolverine
subject on the
comics,
show
as
yet?
opposed to right now, which is the golden age of America, according to the State of the Union.
True.
Sorry,
That's
I was
not
bored to look at the
okay.
State of the Union fact and want to see
You
what's going on
poor
with that. And
thing.
apparently, we're in a golden age of America right now. Can't you tell?
I feel golden.
Fuck ice.
True. News true.
I just like saying it
Um,
more. I don't know.
I was gonna say,
Oh, yeah, you had
I think
comic things to
it's.
talk about, right?
I do. I was gonna say I can't believe I haven't forced a segment on the show where I just yap about Wolverine side characters for like 20
Man, if only
minutes.
we had small, like 30-minute segments we could record individually to talk
Whoa,
about things that we
whoa!
want to talk
Stay
about.
tuned. Stay tuned. That was good. Well done.
Thank you. I did my
Um,
best. That's what you paid me the big bucks
I
for.
wanted to say before we move on to anything else, um, have you been keeping up with the uh what was I gonna say? Oh, the whole situation with the Nightwing casting and like the discourse with that
A
for
little
the
bit, yeah.
DCU.
More than I want
Am
to,
I
but
okay?
not up with
You
all of
can
it.
call me crazy. You can rightfully call me crazy if you think I'm crazy. But this is how I feel.
You're crazy.
I feel like thank you. I feel like each side could maybe admit they're a little nuts. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
I'm interested to hear what you
Um.
go on.
So like, okay, dude, for those not in the
Because
know,
my
um,
initially I am like it feels like one side definitely is being kind of insane, and the other is being like, hey,
well,
that's insane.
well, I'll explain the situation and then you can
Yeah.
voice your opinion on that. So for those that don't know, and I have to look up his name because I always forget. Um, the actor from Heated Rivalry, whose name is da 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 da. Where's
Hudson
the
Williams.
IMDb? Thank you. Right? Or is he the other one? Right? Yeah,
I looked
Hudson.
up he
Yes.
had a rivalry Nightwing, and everything says Hudson Williams. So
Okay, thank you. So for those who don't know, uh, Hudson Williams, he's the Canadian one, not to be confused with the Russian one. Um, a lot of
okay.
people have been fan casting him as Nightwing, and in a recent interview, excuse me, in a recent interview, he voiced interest in playing the character. Um, and that has sparked a lot of online discourse about whether or not Dick should be portrayed by a Romani character, or excuse me, a Romani actor, um, and how much that identity is important to him as a character. So, what were you gonna say about like the sides?
Because to me it seems like there's a lot of Peter rivalry fans who aren't really familiar with comics going, he wants to be Nightwing. Let's have him as Nightwing. And people who care about Nightwing comics and Dick Grayson are being like, hey, we should really honor the Romani heritage. It wasn't introduced in the best way, but it could be. It's an interesting part of the character that should be read. And that way, I feel like it's like you don't even go here. Why are you so passionate about this? To the people who are fan casting him so much. That's my take on it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I was gonna say not to be like a fence humping like centrist. I've seen insane stuff from both sides where I'm just like, guys, first of all, it's probably not gonna happen. So
Mhm.
regardless, like,
I'm sure you can find individuals on both sides who are being insane about it. But overall, I tend to be like, let's honor Romani heritage and see if we can work that in. I. 'Cause.
be cool. I it's interesting because in a lot of ways, I think there's been a lot of progress on that front, but in other ways, it feels like it's been performative, I guess. My go-to
Okay.
example being Scarlet Witch in Rivals, who I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of it is like good Romani rep, but from what I understand, the actress isn't Romani. Um, and that's arguably worse because then she's doing like an accent, so that's a little loaded.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
but like I don't know, it's just like I appreciate the optimism. I just think that like I mean, hell, they won't even acknowledge that Bruce is Jewish. It's just like
Hmm. My take on it is that as the fans, we aren't the casting directors. We can push and be optimistic and say, here's what we want to see from this character. And and then it's on the casting director to say, okay, here's what people want to see, here's what the character is, here's what decisions we have to make. So as the fans, why not be optimistic and say, I want to see these characters' heritages represented on the big screen?
okay, I gotta call out Dan Waters real quick. I hate to do it.
Okay.
I hate to do it, but I gotta call out Dan Waters. So the circus arc just finished, right? The circ. Why am I forgetting the title?
Yes.
The circ.
The Zanny arc. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Dan Waters, you did a whole arc about the circus and Nightwing, and didn't bring up how like historically, the circus has like colonized Romani culture and exploited them. That could have been really interesting. You even had the Zanny stealing children, and you could have paralleled that to like the jingoistic like stereotypes about Romani people. I'm just saying that was missed opportunity. That like
That
spells
would have been interesting
itself.
to see. Yeah. That would have been
He,
good to see.
I almost wonder. I want to almost want to give the benefit of the doubt, and he was told by C not to, because it feels like so like I'm not even playing
Or
checkers.
he was
I'm
struggling
playing
to find or struggling to find a way to fit it in without feeding into all the negative stereotypes.
yeah, because I don't feel like I'm playing checkers here. I feel like I'm playing like tic tac toe. You know what I mean? Like this is not like a challenge. This is not a reach. I don't think. Um, so it's just interesting to me that
It
like
could be that this 3D tic tac toe where the space you put it is the board you play on.
yeah, it's like space
Like
tic tac toe.
it's not like it's not necessarily checkers or chess, but it's a little more complicated than just tic tac toe.
It just felt
Start
like
making
I
start
don't know. Like
embodying the metaphor
you
too much.
good. Yeah. But you know
Oh,
what
no
I mean?
commenting
Like
on
it just felt like
agree.
such like maybe it was too. You know what? Alternatively, it could have just been low hanging fruit, and he was like, "This is probably what everybody expects." So I'd rather like
Mhm.
tell.
Maybe there's
I
other
don't
plans
know.
for stories to tell relating to this. Who knows?
Maybe also true. I would be shocked as the last we see of this character, this side of the.
Especially with how that arc ended. And considering it's only
Yes,
been a week, I'm not going to say anything about it.
it just felt to me like pretty glaring. I was like, huh, like,
Yeah,
but I
that
don't
would have been an
know.
interesting thing to bring up.
I feel like, ooh, this might be too spicy. This might be too spicy. But you know what? It's calling out a big company, so I'll do it. I
Go for it.
think I think ever since DC finally woke up and was like, "Oh, we probably shouldn't hire Devin Grayson anymore." Like ever since they blacklisted Grayson, they've been slowly like, and let's just ignore everything she did,
From her
right?
run. Yeah.
Because it's problematic. Big air quotes there.
Mhm.
And yeah, there's certain things for sure I think you can ignore. The elephant in the
Yeah.
room, the
Yeah,
tarantula-shaped
like I'm fine
elephant
that
in the
Tarantula
room.
hasn't shown up since her last appearance was in Night Terrors, which, makes quite a bit of sense.
Sure. Like, that's fine. But, like, in the same way that, like, oh, like, North Star shouldn't be gay anymore because it was John Byrne's idea, and we don't like John Byrne anymore because
Because
he's
bad people
homophobic. Like, it's
can have good creative decisions that are
yeah.
good and impactful to characters.
It just
Just
seems
because the person who
like
did
very
this was It doesn't mean
short-sighted.
we have to list everything. Yeah.
Also,
Like, if you
notably the
imagine
fact that
comics
it's like a
never
woman.
touching. Yeah,
Oh, you
that's
go.
another
I think
issue.
you were about to say what I'm thinking of. If they just ignored what?
I'll let you say it.
It, the Sandman universe.
Yes.
That's what
Can
I'm
you
just.
imagine DC never touched that
If,
ever again, or did anything with that full treasure trove?
or just pretended like none
That
of
seems
that
like
was
that
canon
is
or
what's
didn't
going on
happen.
right now.
They
Because it
were
does seem
notably
kind of
absent from
present.
New Universe. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, at one point, Black Label, Vertigo, those are all Sandman universe. And that started fading out right around the time of as all this came out.
So it's just like,
Like,
okay.
I find this a more fitting label and bringing back just Vertigo. But the timing is kind of conspicuous. And
One, and
it
it
might have been
seems
for the
like it's
best.
affecting
But
characters that like are only adjacent. Like I just thought it was weird Constantine was labeled like Sandman universe. Like that was always a
yeah.
red flag
But it
to
gave
me,
us
is that I'm
Side
like,
Spurrier's
yeah,
Hellblazer,
it
Dead
gave
in
us a really
America.
good
So,
run. Yeah. So it was fine at the time. And then now it's just like, oh, so John doesn't get to have a book anymore because of that, even though he wasn't even created.
mhm.
Like he's not even a Neil Gaiman character. Like, okay. Like that's I'd even throw Lucifer in there, honestly. Like the fact that we haven't had a Lucifer book since 2021, I think. I want to say
I don't
2021.
know. Yeah.
Sounds all right. You got that really cool cover where it's I think it's a picture of Rasputin that they like edited with like little devil
Mhm.
horns on it, and it says like
That's fun.
will punish souls for cash or something. It's a
Yeah.
cool cover. Um, yeah, it's like you can't just ignore. And it's like okay, to use like a more long term example, look how much work the queer and POC writers have been able to do in like the Lovecraft universe, and it's like you know
Mhm.
that was a creator
Yeah,
who would
he's
not
notoriously
appreciate that.
awful,
Yeah,
but
he'd probably
we don't
die
even
because
to
he
mention
was
his
so
cat's name.
racist. Yeah, do you know that he probably because he had a really severe
Yeah.
panic attack and then he died like a day later in the hospital. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's probably because he saw somebody of another race." This one was so
Mhm.
suck at H.P. Lovecraft. I did start reading that Last Days series. I need to finish that. It's
Okay,
pretty
how was
good.
that?
The first issue is interesting. I like that it didn't glorify him.
That's
Like they
good.
have one
Yeah.
of his own characters. They have one of his own characters come into his hospital room while he's dying. And he's like, "You're a bigoted piece of crap." And I was like, "Oh, damn, that's wild."
Nice.
Um, it also mentioned his kind of bromance with Conan's creator, and I appreciated that as somebody interested in both universes. Guys, is it okay to ship problematic dead authors with each other?
Guys, is it okay to have problematic authors exist and have their works recognized still? Yes, it is
Mm,
okay. That's what we just said.
yeah, it's okay. But should they
Could
be
you imagine
gay?
how much? Could you imagine how much of comics history has to be thrown out if we were going to ignore every single bad?
No, for sure. I mean, like,
Everything Batman related from the
yeah, I was
90s.
gonna say, arguably, we're still seeing like content creators that I think most people would label as like cancelable. Still, you
Mhm.
know,
Like, I'm glad that Dixon isn't getting money for the all of his contributions right now, given his history. But, like, could you imagine if if DC decided that, okay, just like we're taking away a lot of things Devin Grayson introduced to Nightwing, we're gonna take away the things that Tuck Dixon introduced to Batman.
could you imagine the horror of like if every time Stephanie Brown did something, like Chuck Dixon got like $1?
Yes, that's what I see when I close my eyes after a bad day.
Well, I think with that we can
Or
move
every time the
on.
Birds of Prey in general did something.
Oh, that'd be awful, especially the
Mhm.
Thompson.
Oh yeah. But then kind of going off something I brought up earlier, Young Justice, they're really weird
Mm,
about gender, right? Those kids.
yes.
You have Tim, who I just talked about for a while. of Cassie, who I brought up that has her own thing going on with gender. Bart is basically like a little gremlin guy who doesn't care. He's from the 28th century, 31st century. I'm not sure off the top of my head. He's from the future. They've got future genders to be bigoted against that we can't even understand.
I hate the bugs.
And Connor's also
Timothy,
there for the
Timothy,
30th
you don't
century.
understand. I hate the bugs.
Yeah, Bart's from the 30th century. They've got things going on there. They don't have time to worry about people's gender. And also, Connor's there. I don't know what he's got going on with gender, but it's enough that a writer's like, we're going to hit him with the trans ray.
Transify him. Ow.
Transify him. Transify him.
Transify
Anyone's Catholic
him.
will get that joke from the crucify him part of the Easter Mass. Well, a good primate.
Ooh, look at you making some deep cut references here.
No, that's not a deep cut reference. That goes in my crucify him. Crucify him goes in my head constantly.
True.
Also, even my history class, I talked about the tavern today. That's not just common knowledge. To me, someone who
Me when
did
I'm a
Catholic religious education every summer for a
me when
while.
I'm me when I've never been Catholic.
Get
Imagine.
with you. Imagine not knowing what a tabernacle is.
It's the choir.
No.
Oh, then never
I
mind.
think there is a tabernacle choir that's a group.
Yeah, the Tabernacle Choir.
That's not what the tabernacle is.
Damn.
Yeah, the tabernacle choir is a thing, but the tabernacle is the place in the church where the Eucharist is kept. And I'm gonna
Oh,
end
the
this here so we
little
don't start another.
box.
I'm gonna end this here before we start another religious war. Millions of people have died over
Fair
what goes on
enough.
with the Eucharist and in the
True.
tabernacle and stuff.
True. It's
And none of
caused
them
a lot of
decided, well, if we sit down
discourse.
and talk about it.
It's caused a lot
And
of
that's why
discourse over the
Dr.
years.
And that's why we need to create. Sorry, I'm just laughing at you. Are you calling like the European Wars of Religion discourse?
Yeah, it's discourse.
Okay. Also, let's talk to them on Twitter some days. But
Yeah.
that's why we need to invent time travel to send Dr. Buckles from Loyola University 30 years talk. Anyone who knows time travel, there take notes.
Hashtag Twitter.com.
End the 30 years war discourse. So the 30 years discourse, is that what we're calling it?
I guess. The 30 years yeah, sure. That
You're
works.
calling it at least.
That's what I'll be calling it that from now on. Forever.
But yeah, Young
For the
Justice,
rest of my
they've got a
days.
lot of gender stuff going on. That's what I wanted to say. And it's really interesting that all these characters introduced around the same time have all of this.
True. What was going on in the 90s? What was up?
A lot going on. Yes.
Speaking of a
And
lot
some
going
of it was
on,
even good sometimes.
most of the I swear, you guys, you gotta read
No,
Executioner
they did
Song.
things like introduce
You gotta read
some
Executioner
cable
Song.
villain, clone guy. I don't know.
You gotta read Executioner Song. That's the good 90s stuff.
Never.
One day.
No.
Well,
No
speaking of
day.
things that are too much, guys, we're back to our
Oh,
favorite punching bag on the show. We are back to our all-time favorite punching bag, Mr. Jeff
what's
Loeb
going on with
himself.
Hattush?
What's going on with Hattush? For those that don't know, Hattush, the final issue delayed once again. It will now be releasing on a very
Sometime in May?
professional. Yes.
May 27th.
Yes. End of May.
Where is the second most pulled book of the week behind Absolute Wonder Woman,
This is good.
according to League of Comic
Good
Geeks?
answer, nephew. Good answer. So we're about to reveal some behind the scenes situations for those that follow us on the leaguing out league account. That's hard to say. Leaguing out league account. Leaguing out league account.
Not actually that hard, I guess.
We had both purchased copies of the first issue of Hattush. That would be Batman number 161.
No,
And the plan was is that we were gonna
159.
no, it has to be 161 because I'm looking at part two and it's 162.
No, because 163 is the last issue.
I'm very confused.
Oh, sorry, 158. We're
What? Okay, whatever. We bought the first one. I thought I was looking
yeah,
at part two. I guess
158.
I'm not. What the
It's
heck?
Hush 2. Chapter 4 is 161.
Yes.
Whatever.
Hush
Moving,
to
let's keep pushing, moving right along.
yeah,
Let's
I
get
got really
the show
sidetracked.
on the road. We
Um
always do. That's what the point. That's what the
so
point of the show.
so the whole idea was that we were gonna be like, oh, well that really
We have
lines
exactly enough
up.
time to
Yeah,
to read one issue every week, and just time to read the last issue. We right after we read the last issue, we would be going to C2E2, where Jeff Loeb will be present, and where you can meet us for a fee of $0.00. Tickets not included. And
tickets
the
not
episode would come on
included.
April 1st, and we'd have a whole episode dedicated to Hattush on April 1st and how much we loved it.
Yes, how much we definitely enjoyed
Then
it, and it was a good Batman book.
Hattush got the final two of Hattush got delayed 2 more months, and now all of, or at least two of the Imperial spin-off books will have started and ended in between issues of Hattush.
I just at
Like
this point,
Imperial,
who wants
the Imperial titles
this?
were already handled poorly. But the
Well,
fact
we'll
that
get
you can
into
fit the
that with
entire
our final
lifespan
segment. I think
into
that'll be one
Hattush.
of the many things that we talk about
Yeah.
in the final segment here. Um, but like, okay, with Hattush, at this point, other than you and I, who are purely farming it for ironic value, what's even the point anymore? Like, you don't see anybody excited about this storyline. I certainly don't,
Yeah.
at least. Um, we've had at least half of the creative team come out and say, I don't want to be doing this right now.
Mhm.
I'm sure Jeff Loeb, if you ask him, probably doesn't have the nicest things to say about it
Yeah.
either. I can't prove that. I'll have proof when I meet him, but
Could you
uh,
imagine that we go up to him and say, "Hey, what's going on with Hush 2?"
well, I'm
And I'd be
sure
like,
when we ask
"Stop!
him
You're
to
the
sign
six. You're the
our
60th people to ask
copies,
me.
yeah, I'm sure when we have him sign our copies, we'll be thrilled to be like, wow, I hate working on this.
Why are you two getting me to sign this?
Of all the things I could sign,
I wrote the Long
um,
Halloween, and you're bringing me Hush 2?
you have first edition copies of Daredevil Yellow, and you're having me sign this?
Not copies. Well, I don't. You
I
do.
do. I do.
I,
Um,
I think that
no,
Hush
you
2 is the only Jeff Loeb book I own right now.
that's kind of funny.
Sorry, no, I have 3 books by Loeb. Oh, because I have one issue of the Ultimates 3, and he did a backup and one of the giant size books.
That's right. That's right. God, what a time. But yeah, like, I don't
But two
know.
Jeff Loeb books I own. Jeff Loeb, the critically acclaimed writer of the Color books and of the Long Halloween books. I own Ultimates 3 and Hush 2.
Gosh on that.
I might be silent for the rest of the episodes. I think about that fact.
You'll be hushed.
Okay, no, you spooked me out of the silence. Never mind. We're back.
Oh, the silence, my new favorite character in Hattush, right?
Oh yeah, because we
Okay.
before we found out about this delay, we read the first issue
We
of
did.
Hattush.
We read 158.
It was bad.
It was very bad. Um,
Generously, I can give it 3 or 3.5 stars.
yeah. My big one is that I'm just like, I read the preview whenever that first started coming out. I want to say like,
A year ago.
yeah, just about. And I expected it to be like a normal preview where for the most part I still don't know what happens, but like
But
like
no,
I
that
still have to read
preview
the
was
issue.
basically just the book.
Yeah, that was half of the book. Like I think page count and plot wise. Because
I
that
think
was the
page
other
count
thing.
wise, yes, but plot wise, it's more than half. Because
Well,
nothing really happened in that issue. Joker tried to do
yeah,
laughing fish again, and Bruce goes, "Huh, that's weird." And I'm going to track down the Joker, and he tracks down the Joker. He sees the
but
Joker's in
oh
danger and
no,
about to die,
he has to
and the
save the
issue
Joker.
ends.
The Joker lie. Hush has a new accomplice called the Silence,
Oh yeah,
who
true. We
hates
had to
Batman,
introduce
but we don't
them.
know why. Um, like that's whatever. Talia's here
Yeah,
doing mysterious Talia stuff. I guess.
yeah. I don't know.
Um, it was like okay. We've been talking about like how this book, from an outsider's perspective, represents everything bad about modern Batman. So I was hoping, at the bare
That
minimum,
reading it would make it feel a little bit better.
or at least
If
on
anything,
par.
reading Hattush made it worse.
Yes, I think it made it worse. I think my expectations were actually higher than what I was given. Because the whole
Yeah.
time I'm just like, why are we so like Batman is this lone, like, oh, I don't work with anybody. I'm the freaking Batman, baby. Like, you know,
Hmm.
there's like a throwaway line that comes up like twice where it's like, oh, Bruce can like turn off his tracking whenever he wants, and I'm like, then what's the point of having a tracker on you? What's the point of
Yeah.
like? And it was and like the fact that like he's being like, oh, shut up, Barbara and Dick. I gotta do my Batman.
Hacker and be Batman.
Yeah, like yeah, I'll keep you informed if it matters or whatever. And I'm just like, I just don't. But also, this book is really trying to hype up how like tactical and like how much like oh he's the soldier against
How's
crime
how
or whatever.
trying to hype up how Zack Snyder Batman is.
Yeah, so like
That's derogatory.
it just tried us confused. I think that was like one of my biggest takeaways is I was like, I don't know
Yeah,
if this
it doesn't
book
know what
knows
it
what it
wants to
wants to
be. It
be.
doesn't know when it
Yes.
wants to be. It doesn't know what continuity it wants to be.
I couldn't believe Jeff Loeb remembered that Alfred was dead. I was fully expecting like a Alfred, like, oh, we're the drunkler or what, like just with how like in its own like continuity it was. Um,
Yeah, like this would be a
also,
book where I'm not surprised if
yeah,
they retcon it to be another universe.
oh, easily. Well, and this is something we mentioned ironically in the future, I think, because we talk about this in Serena's episode. Um, but like the fact that almost everything that was supposed to be the fallout of Hattush has already been resolved.
Yeah,
The book isn't
like
even over, and we know how it ends.
all the books, guys, an entire arc dedicated to okay, how is the church impacting these characters in these places? And those started around the time the last issue came out, and are wrapping up now before the next issue comes out.
Well, because my big thing, and it's probably why the book keeps getting delayed. Now they don't know how to end it. The book's been delayed
Yeah,
so many times that what would have been like a big cliffhanger ending is just like, well, now we already know what it looks like. So they're trying to figure out a way to end the book to still justify like the hype.
and also
And it's
what's
like,
going
unless you just
on with
admit that
the
it's,
follow-up
yeah,
miniseries?
oh, that's not happening. Yeah,
You
I fully
think?
changed my tune on that. Yeah, I think it's done.
Okay, I wonder if it's gotten reworked into the Wonder Woman thing.
I think the Wonder Woman thing is that I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bunch of one shots with Jeff Loeb working with different artists. Because that was a big thing I noticed about the Wonder Woman announcement. I was like, oh, it's weird that Jim Lee isn't working on this. And I was like, oh, yeah, Jim Lee doesn't want to be working.
Yeah,
Jim Lee would rather do anything than work on this book. And it shows because I'm going to be honest. I think this is the first Jim Lee book that I read where I was just kind of like, the art is fine. I was not particularly blown away by his pencils. Yeah, do you, you stayed silent on that due to your lack of Jim Lee reading?
partially, and also just because of lack of ability to like. I read the issue of Fatouche, and I want to be like, this is the worst thing I've ever read, but like, I don't think it would. It's not really bad. It's just boring. It's not trying to do anything. It's not trying to say
It's
anything.
boring. It's not trying to do anything. It feels fatigued. Like
Yes,
it doesn't want to be itself. And that's the worst thing you can have, you know? I think we talked about it on the show, but like I think we both have a
a
passion for
bad
like
book that knows
things.
what it's doing and is leaning
Yeah.
into that is fun to read sometimes. That's
Or
the
if
reason
you're
people talk
gonna
about Hulk straight, and
sure.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm the goddamn Batman. There's a reason people talk about this. Those books are bad, and but they're doing something with it. They're doing something that's trying to say something. It's just not a
And
good
they're
thing they're trying to say,
committing
but
to
it's fun.
being bad. They're like we're insane and we're gonna do our own thing. Like
They're fun, but
like
they're
here's
not
the thing.
good. Hattush is
You,
boring
yeah,
but mid right now, where
who
we are
knows?
in
Maybe
it.
we'll get to
The next
God, is
couple
it
issues
like
will
the
be like, oh
middle of
no,
the arc? Yeah.
mid was too nice for this.
Because
I think that is
I
well
know the
written.
one with Barbara on the cover is pretty infamous. That's
Oh
up there.
yeah.
Let's see. Because this has an average score of 3.6, and then the next issue
Okay.
has an average score of 3.2.
Oh.
Then we go down to 3.1.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, the Babs issue is 2.8.
Ooh.
And then the 162, the one that I'm looking at, is
Mhm.
2.4.
Wow.
You know what? I
Just
don't know.
wow.
But
I
yeah.
at some point I don't even know what to say about these issues.
We will still be trying to read all of them. I guess it'll be a lot easier to make sure we've read them all by the time the last one
Yeah,
comes out.
much easier. Yeah.
I guess that's nice for us. That's nice for you guys. We had a fun. This is gonna be a fun segment. And now I'm freaking. Okay, who are you placing bets on is responsible for the delays? Do you think it's Jim Lee or Jeff Loeb in the writing department, or more Jim Lee's apathy at drawing the book?
I say it's both, and they keep taking turns.
That's fair. Well, because it definitely seems like early on it was more Jim Lee just being like, God, I really don't want to draw this book. But again, to what
Hmm.
I was talking about, like where now they're trying to figure out, like, okay, we promised, like, what didn't they say, like it would be the most shocking conclusion in Bat history or something like that? I know they
Yes, I
promised
think
some
that's the exact
big,
quote. Yeah.
like the biggest status quo change since the original, which by the way, part of what works about the original Hush story is that it's really self-contained.
Hmm.
Like the
Like
culprit is
the big thing
ultimately
it
the only
did,
new
I guess.
character that's been introduced. Like
Mhm. Yeah, I was gonna say the big thing that it did was go. Here's Bruce's childhood friend you all know and love.
now you can use them in other stories, but also don't, because
Mhm.
you know
No,
because we'll
you did the
ignore
one we did with the
them.
one story with him. You can't do anything else,
Yep, can't do anything else. But like yeah,
and you
like
can
you
try,
read
but
that
it's not gonna be
original
good.
Hush, because even like the Jason resurrection is then a fake out. Obviously now
Yep.
that's more complicated due to the retcons, but at the time it was a pretty simple like, nope, he's not back. That was a fake out, so don't worry about that. And I think it's interesting this story is so focused on breaking apart the Bat family, whereas I would say that's probably one of the biggest selling points of the original Hush is you get to see like, characters like Huntress like
I
take the
love
center stage and
Huntress.
that sort
I
of
want her.
thing.
I want her to
Yeah.
do more.
Well, she was, and then, you know,
Yeah. Speaking of
womp womp.
Fatouche,
Do you think the fallout of Hattush will lead to New Titans by Kyle Higgins?
you mean Teen Titans, not New
Or
Titans.
Teen
New
Titans,
Titans is
yes.
different.
That's right.
Probably. I mean, I'd be kind of surprised if it didn't.
That'd be funny. They like contacting Kyle Higgins. They're like, okay, well, everything else got ruined, so how can we set up your
I
book
do think.
since it's not out
I
yet?
do think that the reason New Titans is happening how it is. Sorry, Teen Titans, not New Titans. maybe New Titans, but Steph wasn't going to be in this anyway. So
Yeah, because Jeff
I do
Loeb
think that,
doesn't like her.
yeah, I do think that a reason that Teen Titans is happening how it is because Jason is homeless. I think we talked about this in the episode that'll come out next week, but
We do.
yeah,
Uh,
I feel like everything going on, just this, just about a year. I feel like you can even cut it early and say the year period between the first issue of Fatouche to the last issue of Fatouche will be a time that people can study to see what's going on in DC's mind.
I was gonna say, I wanted to get a little
Specifically with Bad
conspiracy
Boys.
brain with you. Um,
Yes,
and this will lead nicely into our next topic. So, of
is it all
all of the
Tom King's
next,
fault?
well, that too. You can bring that up when I'm done. Uh,
No, because we talked about it in the
oh, we
last time
did.
we
We
recorded,
did
which is the
talk
next
about it in the
episode.
next episode. Um, so okay, of all the next level books that have been announced, the one we know literally nothing about is Shadow of
It's
the Bat.
Batman out of the Bat.
Possibly, could that be where all of the Hattush continuity is going? Whether it's
Are
what
you
was going to
saying
be,
that Shadow of the Bat's going to be a Jeff Loeb book
I'm saying it could either be a Jeff Loeb book or like, okay, all these ideas for sequels and like fallouts that they were going to have
for
to
Hub
this
3
book,
and Hub 4 and Hub 5?
yeah, is going to go to Shadow of the Bat, and it's going to be like an anthology. Like this month we're doing Hattush stuff. This month we're doing like kind of how Legends of the Dark Knight used to be, or I guess Superman Confidential before it got canceled.
But see, those books were actually kind of good.
This won't be good. Yeah. Well, okay. I don't know if this
Could
is a
you
spicy
imagine
take.
the? Okay, so I just want to stop you before you say anything. I
Okay.
want you to think about the reaction that would happen if DC said, "We're repurposing all of these ideas for Hush 2 and 3 and yada yada, and
Yeah.
putting them into this book that people have been speculating could be a Dan Waters book or what or any other number of
Oh, just
acclaimed
break
Bat
their
writers."
little hearts.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine the reaction on the internet if DC did that?
Yeah, that would hurt. I wouldn't
It'd
put
be
it past
fun,
them
but
though. I wouldn't put it past them.
and they haven't been as bad about this as another company.
Well, then should we get into our final segment then? Should we
Unless you want to finish up what you were going to say, sure.
the only other thing I was gonna say is like the reason I just think about it is that I'm like I think one, I think it's weird that we don't know anything about that book. Um maybe it's being reworked, you know. And the other thing I was gonna say
Yeah.
is that I think Jeff Loeb, much like ironically, who we'll probably end up talking about in this next segment, Jonathan Hickman, I think Jeff Loeb is a really good ideas guy. I think he's really good at being like, oh, wouldn't it be interesting if we did this? So honestly, if it was like we're doing the three-ish, four-ish, whatever ideas, but it's new writers, I don't think that would be the end of the world.
Okay. So you're implying that these are new writers who would be doing their own spin on the ideas.
Yes, that's what I would hope
Okay.
for. Because let's be
Maybe,
honest, like
maybe
part of it is that
I can
Jeff Loeb's not
almost
in the
see a
Pulse
world where this
anymore.
works.
Because part of
I
it
can
is that
almost
he's
see
an
a
old
world where this
man,
works.
right? You know, it's not like the
Yeah.
'90s where he was a young hip,
He's the cutting edge. He's the young
writer.
kid on the block.
Yeah, it's not like that anymore. So I think that's part of the problem is that he can't really tap the pulse like he used to. Because you look at a book um, um, okay, like Spider-Man Blue is like my go-to example. I think that hit at
Mhm.
the perfect time for Gen X millennial burnout and like
Okay.
thinking about the nostalgia of like college and like late high school because I think that's what through the lens of Gwen. I think that book is also more of a commentary on about like growing up and having to become the adult in the
Mhm.
world. It's Peter's still married to MJ at the time, but it's like, it's a young marriage. So it's like
Yeah.
that's its own can of worms. So like in that way, that book really tapped the pulse on like what was relevant at the time. Meanwhile, like this is such a far out comparison, but like that's about around in Friends when like they all start getting married and having babies and stuff. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like around that same time. So it was really tapping the pulse on what like people wanted stories about. Meanwhile, like Hattush feels like a Batman story they like dug up in a sarcophagus. It just doesn't like
Mhm.
nothing about this book feels like current.
Yeah. We talked about before that it feels like Loeb doesn't want to care about the 20 years in between, almost 25 years in between these two books.
It's been a long ass time since
Yeah.
that book
Like we
came
said,
out.
Hattush happened before Jason came back. Not Hattush, Hawan.
I want to be
I hope
happy.
that if DC does it
La, la, la.
reprintings of Hush, they label it as Hawanch.
That'd be really funny. Well, okay. This is another thing. I think it was very pretentious for them to be like, and we're calling it this because we have plans to do minimum 3
A
more.
third and a fourth and a fifth.
Fifth. And they
Mm-hmm.
had the stupid t-shirts, exactly. You've seen the image of them at San Diego Comic-Con with the black shirts that say Hattush on. You could buy them for a bit. I don't know if I assume they're not available anymore. But you could buy
Someone's
them
gotta be
from the DC
reselling them.
store for a bit. That was so pretentious to be like, and this is going to sell
Yeah.
so well. Because it was basically assuming that people would just buy it because of the name. And that's not to say it hasn't been selling well, because from what I understand, it does sell really well every time it actually releases. But it's certainly not to the same acclaim that the original Hush was. Far from
Oh
it.
yeah. They were only available for 52 hours. Well, let's see, it's gotta be a second hand one
52,
somewhere.
52, oh, 52,
Yeah, we have to take
52
that number.
megatons,
We have to take that number
50
away from DC
tons.
for a bit.
DC isn't allowed to use
We can just talk them
52
for this bit.
for at least 52
Yeah,
weeks.
at least 52 years.
I could also get down behind that.
Yeah, I don't know. Hattush is a case study in all time.
I agree. But I think let's pivot. We've been shitting on DC a little bit, but we actually wanted to end the show kind of
By saying that
sucking
DC's actually
DC
doing
off a
pretty
little
good in
bit.
comparison to
Yeah.
Marvel.
Um how do we want to set the scene? How do we want to
Take your pick. That DC started flopping a bit and basically allowed Marvel the softest pitch they could think of, and Marvel struck out somehow.
Yes, I think that's a big one.
And
I
also
think
the DC started as DC was realizing, okay, we've lost all of our goodwill with everything going on at Hattush, we're announcing All In. And it's been pretty consistently received well. And we haven't read any of the books yet, but the announcements are getting lots of
oh,
praise
you mean next
already.
level. Okay. Okay, that
Yes,
makes
next level,
sense.
not All In. Yeah. They,
No,
they
I
do
think
actually
yeah.
they usually stop having so many big line wide initiatives. You might because they're gonna run out of names at some point.
That's what's also going to be funny about when Hattush, the final issue, finally drops, is that it's going
Mm-hmm.
to still have the all-in branding, even though everything will have moved on to next level by that
Yeah.
point. But yeah, so for those keeping up with the next level announcements, we have a lot of exciting stuff going on. We have
Greg
a
Rucka
Dead book,
Batwoman
Greg
again
Rucka with
is one
Bad
of the big
Woman,
ones.
uh, a Dead Man book by the very popular team working on Ice Cream Man for Image. Um,
Tony
Barbara
Fleek's
Gordon
Daredevil,
Breakout finally
got a
got
young
its
Jorge Corona
solicit.
Lobo, Barbara Gordon Breakout by Mariko Tamaki. That one I have a bit more reservation towards, considering it's been on an event, but I'm still interested to see what it looks like and how it is.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, you know what? Let's break this down into tiers. So let's start with our
Yeah.
alternate universes real quick, because I think that's one that we
Okay.
both, we've talked about on the show before, but I think it's something, we're both very, um, we're very diehard for Absolute Wonder Woman. That
Yeah.
that's the understatement. But like, I
Hmm.
would say in general, and maybe again I'm speaking for myself, I feel a lot more positive about the Absolute Universe than I do Ultimate. Even if Ultimates was continue,
But
if the Ultimate
than I
Universe was
ever did about the Ultimate
continuing,
Universe.
yeah.
Even now, what are
Um,
we? Almost 2 years into a year and a half into the Ultimate Universe. I'm higher on it than I ever was on the Ultimate Universe.
I think no, we're two because of Spider-Man was 2024.
Yeah, but
That was
we're
January
a year and a
2024.
half into Absolute is what I'm saying.
Oh, right. Okay. I was like,
Yeah,
what? The
we're a year and
numbers
a
aren't
half
up right.
into Absolute, and I'm higher on it than I ever was with Ultimate.
Yeah.
Like
Like
Ultimate had a lot of hype at the beginning that started to peter out. Absolute, I'm obviously went off the bang of Absolute Batman, but I feel like the hype's only grown as more titles have gotten announced and more books have come out. People have only
more
gotten more and
titles
more
are getting
more
announced,
excited.
more books. It doesn't seem like there's a set end point. It seems
Mhm.
like these are books that are going to be allowed to
Yeah,
grow as natural.
a
Um,
lot of people are complaining about the Ultimate Universe ending, when really it seems like that was the plan all along, and Marvel hoped people would believe them. But Marvel has such a bad history of following through on those ideas that no one thought it was going to happen.
nobody thought it was going to follow through, and it also seems like not even the creatives felt that
It seems like
either.
some of them, it seems like some of them knew and some of them didn't almost,
Yes. Well, we'll get into
because
communicating.
Camp
Move
was
on.
tough. Camp was like, I'd be like, I have ideas for Ultimate to keep going, and Momoko was like, okay, this is the conclusion, boom,
This is the
and
conclusion I have in
Hickman was
mind.
like, here's the conclusion. And Ultimate Black
Um,
Panther's coming out. That's a book
Ultimate Black Panther is a book that exists. Ultimate Wolverine horse that's been resurrected
that got
somehow.
extended to do
Certainly a book of
more
all
Ultimate
time.
Endgame stuff.
Um, what was it? Oh yeah, but anyway, to focus in with the absolute stuff, it's like it seems like these absolute books are just allowed to grow as they need to, and like yeah, there's like
Mhm.
a wider universe that they can connect to, but it's also like this is their time and they're allowed to chug along and do what they
Yeah,
need to do.
we're going to be
You
getting a
know,
crossover later this year, but they've been doing a good job of staying in their lanes.
I thought it was crazy that we got into double digits with both Absolute Wonder Woman and Batman before we got like an actual crossover. Like you compare
Yeah.
that to Ultimate Universe stuff, which was doing crossovers, I think as early as like USM 9 or something like that. I'm talking like single digits, like boom. Whoa, a whole
Mhm.
other universe that you gotta, well, not universe, whole other world you have to,
A whole
uh,
new world,
exactly.
new
Um,
fantastic point of
I
view.
think the word is patience. I think the word is
Yes,
patience. DC was so
the
much more
2 year
patient with
timer
the Absolute
rushed some of
Universe.
them.
Um, Case in point, um, I know a lot who didn't think we were gonna get that Absolute Martian Manhunter extension just because we're so used to, especially Marvel, making that decision before even the first issue drops,
Yeah,
right?
like Avengers Inc. getting canceled before most people probably had a chance to read the first issue.
Had a chance to read the first issue. So when that announcement finally went through of like, oh, this is being extended into a 12 issue maxi, that was relieving for a
Mhm.
lot of people.
Yeah,
And I
and
wouldn't be
like we knew
surprised if
DC
the same
would
thing
do it because we
happens
saw it happen to Poison Ivy and Green Arrow.
in
But
Green Arrow.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, and then like it to that point, now you don't see that same because we had a similar announcement for Absolute Green Arrow that it's like, oh, it's starting as a mini, but it can get extended. You don't see that same
did it?
anxiety with people. Yeah, they said that.
Okay, I've only heard it talked about as a mini, so I was planning on buying it anyway, but now I'm even more buying it.
But that's my point, right? Is that it's like we don't have this like anxiety like we do with Marvel. It feels like
Mhm.
everything with Marvel is like, ooh, you better be ordering like 3 different copies if you want
Do you mind if I
this
put in a
book to
quick pause on
continue.
this to talk about
Yeah.
Absolute Green Arrow?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who do you think?
Who do you think it is?
Yeah,
Down for the
they're
resurrected Ollie theory. I think that would
yeah
cover
they're
it.
they're like the three main theories. Connor Hawk would be interesting, but I feel like it really needs Ollie to have had this exact same history of being a playboy everywhere. I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
We know Roy exists, but he kind of disapproves of what Ollie's been up to. I think it'd be more interesting to have him as like a reluctant partner to Dinah.
Yeah.
But the idea of Ollie as the Spectre is growing on me.
Yeah, some sort of like mystically resurrected, whether it's the Spectre, whether it's I saw somebody floating around
Dead Man, maybe?
like
That'd be cool.
yeah, maybe. The one that I saw floating around was like almost like a Solomon Grundy style, like Slaughter
Okay.
Swamp or like
Oh,
something
with
like that.
green as in the green.
Yeah, because we're already seeing
And
stuff like that with like the way Wally's like Speed Force works and that sort of thing.
yeah, it'll be cool.
Um,
That's where we're at. It'll be cool, and we're excited, and DC's giving us room to get excited and hope.
yeah. Whereas Marvel, it's like, come on, pick up the pace. Like,
Marvel's like, hey, you
go.
like Nova? Too bad.
Too bad. So yeah, let's move on to our second one. Line-wide initiatives, following through versus chickening out.
Yes.
I subtitled this. We were
Okay.
recently, thanks to Phil, that it seems like Imperial was just shot in the foot even before it could really get a chance to
Hmm.
take off. Um, she was on a podcast, I believe, unfortunately, not ours. Um,
Yes.
and she mentioned that like even before, I think literally after she turned in the script for like She-Hulk, Planet She-Hulk, like 2 or something, they told her
Hmm.
it was ending at 6, even though they told her
Oh
it was
wow.
ongoing until
I haven't had a chance to listen to this yet, so this is how I'm finding this story out.
so basically from what I understand and what she said is that when they all agreed to the projects, it was a standard like you have a
Ongoing,
guaranteed
which
10
yeah, which
guaranteed
is yeah,
10
I will say it seems like Marvel's starting to reach the end of that. It's like how DC was like, yeah, we're drawing the
yeah,
line
they're kind of
three ninety
pussyfoot about it,
nine,
yeah.
and now it's going up. Marvel, I feel like, has given up on the 10 issues. To be
It's
fair, they did last
definitely
like 2 years, which is longer than I expected. But
yes. Well, and I think it doesn't help that it's like they should have done it earlier because the problem started with series that were already over, right?
yes,
And now it's like, okay, but that doesn't mean like everything needs. I don't know.
does
I
that
can't
mean we
really.
need to have 10 issues of X Force that people weren't interested in? Yes, they have to have a tie-in and an
Yes.
anniversary issue.
God, that was a trip. Um, but yeah, so apparently from what Stephanie Phillips said, the situation was when they all agreed to the books, it was like, yeah, keep going. It
Mhm.
and then we'll see how sales are doing. So probably realistically getting canceled, around like
Yeah,
being told around
ongoing
like
just
issue
means 10
3
to
or
too
4.
many. Marvel for 10 to too
Yeah, at this
maxi and
point.
Marvel,
Unless you're, selling like nuts. Case in point,
and even
Fantastic Four.
then, those going to reboot your book over and over again.
True Moon Knight situation. Um, but then, yeah, I from what I understand, very early in the process, everyone was told, and it came as a shock to everyone, down from Jonathan Hickman all the way to Phillips and McKay and everybody working on it, that
Mhm.
instead of 10 issues as an ongoing, um, everybody would be given 6 issues. Uh, but from what Phillips said, really all the books end at 5 because 6 has to serve as a
Wrap
tie-in
up
to
all the
what's coming
things that.
next.
Oh, wow.
She
I
said
was
to
going to wrap up
her,
all the ideas
she
they
said to
launched.
her, Planet She-Hulk ends at 5. That's
Okay.
what she said on the show. Is that the book ends at 5 because that's where
Wow.
her like creative ideas and not the way she wanted them to, but at least like what she was able to fully like control and dictate. And
Yeah.
that 6 and who knows what comes next, that all that is just not what anybody intended. And that's crazy because
Oh, yeah.
it seems like this whole was taken much like the Royals at the center without
Yeah.
without warning. um I
Yeah.
don't care
Fine.
if
I
that's a
forgot about that for
spoiler.
a
It
second.
doesn't matter anymore. I was about to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry I spoiled," but I'm like, "Well, it doesn't even matter anymore." And so now it's like we have questions like, well, they solicited the Imperial Guardians book. What's happening with that? Is that just all going to be a tie-in to whatever new
That is a
book
book,
doing?
yeah.
And then the Exiles book
Look, sure.
still isn't canceled, but also has nothing solicited. We only know the creative team.
Hmm.
No covers,
Yeah.
no nothing. Um, so what's going on with that? Um,
Hmm.
and it's just so frustrating because, like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say Imperial was the best thing ever. It was fine, but it was at least something we could work off of, right? And I think everybody was doing that. You know, you had
Hmm.
Phillips with this new status quo for Jennifer. Um, you had McKay doing what he does, character who's kind of been out of the limelight for a bit and giving them, some time in the sun. Who know, we'll never really know, right? With Imperial Guardian. Well, okay,
Yeah.
I guess Imperial Guardians was announced as 5, but still, like we'll never really know like what those books could have been either, just because,
Yes.
yeah. And you compare that to
Yeah.
DC, who's a lot more confident in letting stuff ride. I think, you've been seeing what both Williamson and Ram V have been doing with like New Gods lore right now, both in New Gods
Or I will once I
and
get a chance to read it or reread
you
it,
will.
depending on the issues.
Hopefully, I have all the
Yeah,
issues
I
by then.
promise.
Um,
Yeah. You will. It's not. These have been sitting
well,
on
it's on
my shelf
break.
for
I'm
since
planning once they
September.
announce their return from the break that I'll start catching up.
Hmm.
But anyway, but so you have Ram V and New Gods, and then you have Joshua Williamson and Superman, like sort of defining this new status quo with Darkseid and like New Gods and Apocalypse and all that. And I'm shocked at how like sticking it seems to be. You know, it seems like, yeah, we are gonna live in a world without Darkseid and without like a formal
Yeah.
like New Genesis and Apocalypse. Like that they just don't exist and they got wiped out. So it's like what does that mean for these characters? And it's like I think it shows I think it goes back to the patience point for sure, because both of these are taking a long time. Because they're
Yes.
syndicated stories and they need to. You can't just like jump
Yeah.
to it. So I think it's a sign of patience. But it's also like Marvel, okay, DC and Marvel have to it when it comes to like not mainstream characters. I think Marvel is who cares and DC is how can we care,
Yeah, that's a
right?
good way to put it. It's much
Is
better than gods trying to be men and men trying to be gods.
yes. Because Marvel is always like, well, we don't care about this, so unless this sells really well, forget about it. Meanwhile, DC is like,
Let's
well,
let it ride.
let's look for that ride. Give us an idea that will make people care about these characters. We don't have these opinions of like, well, this person can't be in the story and that person can't be in the story. We just need the right pitch to motivate
Mhm.
that. And like that's how I feel, I know a lot of people are trepidatious about Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though,
DC's gonna let it ride, and we'll see what happens with it.
and we'll see what it is. And the fact that Kyle Higgins is even like, I have ideas for Flatline and Tara, or not Tara,
Leon,
yes, Leon or Jason.
fair
Like
play.
the fact that he's even saying that. Oh, don't even get me started. Kyle Higgins could make fair play. I'll say that much.
Hmm.
I think if he really gets into, which he's good at, because if you read his other stuff, he does a good job at this. Sort of like the fucked up, sort of being a superhero and what that does to you, and like the trauma aspect of it. I think if he could lean
Hmm.
into that, he could make me enjoy fair play. Um, because I think for Jeremy Adams, it was weird, immaculate. Like, oh, look, your baby who was stolen from you
Yeah.
is back. Isn't God beautiful? Like,
Hmm.
that was just weird.
Yes,
Um,
very weird.
whereas I think Higgins could be really like, man, what's so fucked up about being a superhero is like life and death aren't sacred anymore. And what does that do to you as like a person when like your whole motivating factor can be that somebody's died and then one day they just come back?
Mhm.
Um, we've seen like indie works really kind of get into that. It'd be interesting to see that in a more mainstream title. I mean, hell, you could even talk about that with Jason. It could be a parallel between those two characters.
Mhm.
Um, Kyle Higgins, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling your book right now. Now that I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that's like really on the nose. I
Yeah.
wonder if that's the point.
Can we talk? Start. So is it time to start shaking on Marvel again? Can we just talk about how DC's doing great?
Yeah, let's shit on Marvel some more.
Armageddon, World
Yeah,
War
what's up with
Hulks, or whatever it's
Armageddon?
called.
Yeah,
They've announced a 2027 event.
they've announced a 2027 event, seemingly to calm people down about it being a reboot.
That's my take
Um,
on it. Yeah.
but I'm also just like, that's probably not the brightest idea because why do we care about Armageddon? I
And
think part of
why
the
is
work about the
Armageddon
hype
being
is
listed
was the
as
mystique.
why is Armageddon being hyped as the biggest thing to happen to comics when it's the Avengers versus Red Hulk, who I guess has Latveria?
Yeah, and like, okay, I will say this. I think it's been really fun that it seems like Marvel is really feeding into itself. It feels like the early 2000s, where you could go from House of M all the way to Civil War, and there was this I guess all the way to Secret Invasion, and there was this
Yeah.
clear like,
There's a reason it's called the Bendis era.
yeah, this clear order of operations of like these events flowing. I like that they're trying to do that um with Blood Hunt to One World Under Doom to Armageddon. Um I would even maybe throw Death of Doctor Strange in there. I feel like that set up a lot of the groundwork for what we're seeing right now. Um there's probably some other stuff I just can't think of off the top of my head. Maybe the Fall of X, maybe, kind of.
I don't know as much. But the
It's a
McCains and
stretch.
Zdarsky are handing off pretty well to each other. That's what it
Oh,
comes down
Devil's
to.
Reign, sure. Like that, yeah. If we want to get Zdarsky in here, I feel like.
I was talking about Zdarsky, Cap, and Armageddon.
Oh, true, true, true. Yes,
I guess we kind of throw
great
Northland with
book.
One World Under Doom. It's not the same unified as Bendis, but it's a cooperative that echoes that era.
Yeah, and it's like that's good in theory. The only problem is like making us care, right? You know,
Yes. Because the
Bendis was
Marvel
really
announces
good.
everything too early, both
Yes,
except their cancellations was they announced too late.
and I think yes, I think announcing too early, but also like giving the hand away, for lack of a better term. Because like, okay,
Mhm.
hypothetically, they announced Armageddon, and then we literally don't learn it till like 2 months. That would have been. But now it's like what? It's not till May, right?
Uh, I think so. Or June? It's the summer thing, yeah.
Wait, that's the wrong event. Oh, also Queen in Black. I don't know what's going on with that. I just
That
don't.
is a thing that's happening, yeah.
Let's see. When's the court book? Oh, apparently Ultimate Impact Reborn is also a tie-in.
Or
It's
I
not,
guess.
yeah, it's not even happening till June.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not happening till June. I don't know how true this is because I didn't pull the book. I plan on picking it up eventually, but I don't know. From what I understand, apparently, that new Wolverine tie-in, the like Weapons of Armageddon or whatever, actually takes place after Armageddon, or it's like in media
Oh.
res.
Huh.
So that's really weird and
That'll be interesting to
confusing.
see, I guess.
Um, again, I haven't read it. That's just what I saw from reviews. And I'm not even saying you can't do that. That's just insane to me that it's like we're doing an in media res prologue book before the actual like inciting incident has
Event
happened.
starts. Like even
Yes.
before Captain America's been setting up the stuff.
Yeah, I think that's only starting this month.
Mhm.
Um I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. And then you compare that to DC, which like, you know, I feel like is also kind of doing something similar, but at least it like makes more sense, at least to me. Like you look at the handoff all the way from like Night Terrors to now, right? And there's this very
Uh-huh.
clear flow tying into even mini events and that's that sort of thing. House of Brainiac, um, Gotham War. Um,
Speaking of Gotham War, do you think that has anything to do with Hattush and original
oh,
plans for Hattush and
absolutely.
timing?
I think it was supposed to set up the status quo. I think it was supposed to go Gotham War, Hattush.
Yeah, because like Hattush was going to be the all-in part of the book, I think, and
No,
then
I
I
think
feel
for
like
sure.
its end would have. Yeah, it's a whole mess. That's neither here nor there.
We said we'd be hyping up DC, not throwing them shit. Say something nice to compensate.
Mm-hmm. Let's do something nice. No, I can't talk about New Titans because I'm stressed about that. I can't talk about the Mayor
Can't talk
Ivy
about Teen
event because I'm stressed
Titans because
about
you have
that.
weird feelings about that. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't talk about. Uh,
you're gonna
Supergirl's
pull a
good.
Deathstroke book. You're gonna pull a Deathstroke book. How do you
I'm
feel
gonna
about
check out the
that?
first issue and see what's going on.
Apparently,
I
Rose
might
is gonna
actually
be in
only
it.
I might actually only check out the first issue if I can get a blank cover.
There you go.
We'll see. I think Rose is in it. I thought I heard that somewhere, but every time I look it up, I can't find it. So I'm wondering if I dreamt that announcement.
I've seen it too, so maybe it's collective
Okay.
amnesia. I don't know. It's like I like things are just better over at DC. I think. Like, okay, here's okay.
It's not a
I'm
high
gonna give
bar, but they're
Marvel a
clearing
little.
it.
I'm gonna give Marvel a little credit here. Every week, almost every day, I see posts. People are like, "Man, there's nothing at Marvel that gets me excited anymore." And my take is that like there are still good books coming out. Jed McKay's Moon Knight is back. I also think his
Yeah,
X-Men is
it's
consistently.
going through the relaunch cycle.
I think his X-Men book is also consistently very solid. It's solid in a different way, but I'd also put Gail Simone's Uncanny in there.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
hoping that it will
we were
also be
make
on that list because Exceptional was.
yeah, we were clowning on it, but like Philip Kennedy Johnson's whole is good. It's a very silly
I'll take your word for it. Yeah.
era of Hulk,
I don't
but it's
know. I
good.
don't have too much exposure to it. I just know that we're talking about the Infernal World War Hulk 3
Yeah.
rampage of Hulk Too Fast to Hulk. I think that's the
Um,
title.
Enkidu, the first, the mother of
Okay,
horrors.
sure.
Um, but yeah,
I'm not caught up on
that
Hulk,
one's
if you can't
good.
tell.
Um, get Chip Zdarsky's Captain America is phenomenal. It's doing the political
Oh yeah,
commentary I think all good Captain America books should do. Um,
definitely. Phillips on daring the choice that I hope will pay off.
I think that's going to be exciting. I guess what time it is. It's time for me to suck off Joe Kelly's Spider-Man because hot damn, Joe Kelly has been really good. Um, actually doing things with Peter and not just leaving him in the little safety box of don't ruin our toy. Like
Having a Wiccan book is cool,
having a Wiccan book exist is cool.
especially when it's a Wiccan book that it's a mini, so it's ending at 5, but it's bringing in all the young Avengers, and then a Wiccan special one shot the next month because of Pride. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I hope we're heralding a young Avenger renaissance. We won't be, but I'm going to
I
hope
mean,
that.
that'd be exciting. That'd be good. And it's just like it's there if you find it, but I think it's a lot more consistent at DC. I think there's a lot more titles at
Yeah,
DC that are exciting and are consistently good. You look at the new Vertigo launches, all of them have been released to pretty glowing and positive reviews. And we're not even done
I will
yet. We're
say
not even
though
at the end of
that
the month.
DC is scaring me personally by having the New Titans book talk about Stephanie Brown as part of the quote New Titans end quote and imposters and are they what they seem and everything. And then the month that she's not in any information about New Titans, no covers, no solicit, not even on the main cover, is the month she's in the bad seat. That's what it's called on those covers. And it's like, oh, not everyone will make it out.
Yeah,
DC
I
has a
don't think
vendetta
they'd
against
kill
me
her
for
again. I don't think they'd kill her
you
again.
don't you have more
Nah,
faith in them than I do. You think it's Duke's turn to
because I'm
die?
like, it would just be lazy. It would just be doing the same thing.
And this one wouldn't be starting it, which would be slightly different.
I guess.
Do you think it's Duke's
I
turn to
don't
die then?
know.
Because he hasn't.
No, I think it's Duke. Absolutely. He hasn't done anything. Who needs him?
But then also, you get. Do you think DC is going to be? Oh, we're going to kill the one black character in the Bat family people care about.
No,
Ish.
because to them, they think people care about Luke and
Do they?
God, what's the
When
other
was the
one?
last time Jace or Luke showed up?
Outsiders.
Oh yeah, that book. Well, that was Luke. But when was the last time that
I
Jace showed
can't
up?
stress this enough. To DC, I Am Batman was a really successful book. It doesn't matter what the actual reality of that book was because it got like acclaim and like freaking the New York Times or whatever. To them, that was a success.
Maybe. You want? I'm not even looking at Batman. I'm looking at the last time that just Jace showed up.
So like, yeah, would it
Okay,
be
last
like
year's
pretty
power couple needs
problematic?
stuff.
But I think they do it.
Okay, we'll see. I don't know.
What would happen if they killed Steph? How would you feel about that?
I'm unsure how I would. On the one hand, I wouldn't be surprised, but on the other hand, I would probably break every electronic device that I get within a radius of, and then I go hunt them down and smash them against something. I
That's
don't know.
fair.
I don't think they're going to do it, but I'm worried that they will. That's where I'm at. Only because Rumble is I'm Cass is going and being trapped in the spirit world in May, so who knows? Maybe Stephanie Brown's going to die, and then she'll be with Cass in the spirit world as they do whatever's going on there.
They're finally allowed to
That'd be
be
awful.
gay in the afterlife.
No,
It's like
there's bad
Destiel.
roommates.
It's like Destiel. Steph confesses her love to Cass, so that she gets dragged to super hell.
I love you. Oh, I know. Yeah, it's I love you. What? That'll be how we share DC news from now on.
I love you. What?
The Queen of England is dead.
Do you like my impersonation of the super hell tornado?
Sure. I don't know what I don't know what the reference is talking about.
You have so much supernatural to get that reference. I think it's for the best. You just rely on my firsthand testimony.
I'm trusting you, which is a bad idea given the past, but
Mm-mm,
we're rolling
mm-mm,
with it.
mm-mm. I'm never wrong.
Sure.
I'm only slightly incorrect.
Let's see. Anything else we want to talk about here in terms of Marvel kind of fumbling everything and DC fumbling less?
I think just to put like a
Movies?
nice bow.
Are we
Oh yeah,
gonna
movies for
are we
sure.
gonna be movie people?
Well,
Tuesday
I
is
mean,
certainly
like I think it
happening.
speaks for
Spider-Man
itself,
is
right?
happening, I guess. Yeah. The
I
hype
think this has
around
been
the
the longest
Supergirl
gap
versus
between
Spider-Man
films, right? Because
and
what the last movie that came out,
at least in a while, yeah.
this is a pretty long gap.
Let's see,
And the
closest
fact
functioning
like
movie gap.
I don't
The
really
longest since
see
the pandemic.
anybody. I don't really see anybody all that excited for
Mhm.
like Doomsday or any,
The
not
Spider-Man Brandon
well,
Days happening. The only
I've
thing
seen
people are
ironic. I've seen a lot of memes, I'll say that much.
yeah, Blank will return to Avengers Doomsday has been fun. Spider-Man, people are throwing out random speculation, but no one's like, man, I'm excited for this movie. What everything about the movie is, I wonder who's 86 is going to be. I wonder what's going on with the plot. I wonder why are they bloating it so much with the Punisher and the Hulk.
Well, and like, why are we like still trying to set up status quos when like, okay,
Having
because here's
Secret
okay,
Wars coming soon.
yeah. So that's the thing is like, I don't know for sure if Secret Wars reboot. I don't. It should be
But they did
though in
choose to
its
name their
current
movie
state.
after that's a reboot.
Yes. And again, regardless, I think that regardless of whether or not it is a reboot, it should be because the MCU in its current state is not sustainable. Um
Yeah. At this point, the MCU is
like
trying to just write on the cultural relevance that it had 5 years, 5, 10 years ago, rather than do
yeah.
new things.
And that's not to say that there hasn't been good stuff in that time. It's just like it's just not anywhere near how it used to be.
Mhm. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Meanwhile, DC is like really setting themselves up for success with this new universe. They're having releases that are fairly spaced apart, but not like so long that you're like, oh, is this even still happening? Um,
hmm
I don't
Like a
know. It
year
just
between
seems like things
Superman
are
and
moving
Supergirl,
better.
it seems good, but they've been providing things in the gap to kind of set things up. Like having one of the
Yeah.
Superman-ish movies a year, it seems like the schedule enough to get people excited, but long enough between them to let people breathe.
Yeah, well, and especially because like I think like we everybody throws around MCU fatigue. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm original because I'm like, oh, MCU fatigue, MCU fatigue. But like, it did get to a moment there where it was just like, I want to like have breathing room. Um,
Mhm.
and that just didn't really exist.
Yeah,
Man, or
the
like MC
MCU is such
poo.
a thing right now.
I like the MC poo.
Or like the MG poo. Just kidding. It's not woke. It should be woke.
It should be, but it's not.
The MCU would be better if we got a movie starring a cool woman listening to Blondie.
So true. And her name is Stephanie Brown.
I don't want her to have an MCU movie. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I want her in the DCU because she'll just end up. Because then all the movie fans will be like, "Whoa, she likes waffles," and going, that just happened. Waffle, silly Tumblr joke.
You
LOLs,
gotta make
random.
you gotta make a league, whatever we're calling it, about that because I can tell you're holding back the floodgates. You're like do you remember that terrible fantasy movie like The Wall, and it explained
No,
that the Great Wall of China was meant to keep out like dragons? Do you know what I'm talking about?
why would I know what you're talking about?
Hold on, I'll look up the poster, but like that's how it feels like.
Okay,
Like it feels like you're holding, but you're single-handedly holding back all like the dragons from.
no, I'm actually. That seems it's a good example of what people do talk about MCU Spider-Man versus him as a character. That's probably the closest I can think of to what would happen
Hmm.
if Stephanie Brown got adapted to live action or something. Is that she would get flanderized beyond recognizability, and I would have to live with that. She already kind of is
Yeah,
in
the
Wayne Family
Great
Adventure.
Wall 2016.
Okay, I won't add to my watch list, but I'll appreciate that you told me
Hey,
about it.
Pedro Pascal's in it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I'm pretty sure it's just Chinese propaganda, but you know what? They're entitled to that.
Yeah,
This is my official endorsement of the what's the party
no,
called?
bad. Ending the recording right now. You know what we
Oh,
will
that'd be
endorse?
funny.
That Japan is turning footsteps into energy.
True. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Well, I think with that, we should probably bring the first episode of season one, or
Two.
two, or leaving that in. That's funny. The first episode of season two to a close. You have any final thoughts you want to leave with the audience?
Drink water and be gay.
Do those things.
And also do the YouTube, Spotify things, I guess.
do all the stuff. Do all the
A reminder that 97% of our audience is subscribed or whatever. You look
zero
at
point one of
statistics.
you. 0.1 of you aren't subscribed. What the heck? What the hell?
I don't know what the Spotify stats are like, but you're listening to this, which is cool, and especially considering it's the very end of the episode. Now's where we want to put
Also,
in secret messages for the true fans.
feel free to request either topics for the show or maybe topics for those more focused discussions that we mentioned. We love hearing from you guys. I
Maybe you
think with
do. I
that,
hate our fans. Oh, I thought you
yeah,
stopped
the
recording.
famously.
Whoops.
Whoops.
I love you all, and nothing could ever make me change that.
Wait, I'm gonna do something funny for the outro.
Okay.
This is Lainey saying, "Nya."
This is Cybershine saying, "Go read Executioner song."
So true. You know me so well. All right. Bye, y'all.